Hi, Brandon. We took 3 months to plan this. Yeah, 3 months. Why you not say anything? Say something.
I'm a little bit nervous. I can't help it. I gotta admit that I'm a little bit nervous.
Okay, shh. I can see why you're nervous. I'm nervous too.
I don't even make eye contact. Actually.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
looking-
I was about to say the
somewhere
same thing.
there.
I was about to say the same thing. I refuse to make eye contact. You know? So it's like, okay, without further ado, normally we'll go long-winded and try to beat around the bush
Yeah.
and try to sell the guest. But today's guest needs no introduction. It's been 3 months in planning, okay? Because, you know, this is a very busy person. Yes.
The last time. Last time.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard her voice. We have Nurul Izzah on the show. Finally!
Yeah! Woo!
Hi.
Hi.
It's been a long time coming, right?
Yeah.
She was saying just now, maybe Izzah, you can take us through what happened.
So
3
you
months
think
ago
you're
we were
friends, is it? You
supposed
just call her Izzah.
I asked for
that's my
where's the
name.
main camera, right? She gave permission already.
That's my
We
name.
can call her Izzah,
That is my
right?
name. Thank you.
Alright.
Yeah.
But what happened the last 3 months? How come you couldn't come the last?
Yeah, the first time I think we were trying to find, there was a conflicting schedule.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And the second time when we confirmed the date and the place and of course the time, unfortunately you got COVID.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, Jin?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
I mean, honestly, you do need time to recover and to take the supplements.
Yeah, but when you have 2 kids, you have to recover almost like
Yeah,
immediately.
that's true.
It's so funny because we were talking about the supplements that we take after COVID, and I'm like, oh my god, she takes exactly the same thing that I do.
Guys, this is not a promo or
No, it's
anything, but tiger milk mushroom is the key, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, also because University Malaya was also instrumental in conducting the trials for it. So it's also supporting the local effort
Right.
of doctors and medical professionals.
Tiger milk mushroom is locally made, meh?
Yeah.
Yes,
It
you can-
is?
Yes.
I mean, of course, it's available elsewhere.
Okay.
But, it's something that we should.
I always thought that it was the aunties forwarded WhatsApp messages.
My-
Yeah, that basically sends to my wife and like, where you
Yeah.
get it from? Oh, you know, my auntie from Terengganu. She said, this is good. And I'm like, okay, I trust your auntie. Should I go see a doctor? No need.
I'll give you the paper, the evidence-based. Yeah. I mean, just to support the auntie's premise.
Don't give them more ammunition, please. Enough already.
But we need it. We
My
need
mom,
to recover.
my mom will be delighted. She's like, yes, I am not wrong after all. Yeah. So, thank you so much for making time to come on the show. I know you have a very busy schedule, but I think off the bat, like, how has the past 3 months been? You know, for
Yeah.
you. You've gone through. I mean, I follow you on social. I mean, yes, I have to. But you've gone through a lot.
Yeah, it's been quite a tumultuous 3 months, but I'm also feeling very blessed.
Okay.
It's just a lot has happened. I will say that, and I guess it's nice to be here. It's something like a lull, like from the craziness of the
Yeah.
schedule, but it's also important to share because I feel everyone goes through a particular journey,
Yeah.
right? So there's always a sort of similar theme that we kind of share. And
Yeah.
that kind of keeps me going. lah.
I kind of think that because people think that you're a politician and you're up there and you're, of course, some sort of influential person, and they always think that you're invincible.
No one's infallible, yeah.
Yeah, and
We're
then
all,
when you
human.
start sharing things that are personal, then people are like, oh man, we forget that, it's so sad to say, it's like, oh, they're human. It's like as though they're objects, but they go through the same
Yeah.
things that we go through, but just on a different context. Yeah, but how's it been though? I mean, like, how are you coping and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I think, of course, when the pandemic struck, I think people kind of realized the importance of our mental health and the importance to empathize, right? Because we're only built in terms of our strength on our degree of compassion. So that's what I feel. So when when we lost our baby, I think one of the things I realized there's so many other women and families who are grieving, but they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Or, maybe they have to suffer silently. And I felt we're okay, alhamdulillah. We had a very strong unit and we're lucky. But I think it's also trying to share with others.
Yeah.
Lend a voice to them. And yeah, but of course, other things in terms of work, when you talk about going through an election and not winning the seat that you have contested in. I mean, these are, everyone faces challenges, right?
Yeah.
Ups and downs. But I think I've learned a lot. I'm still learning, and happy that we must make sure we remind everyone else that you're never alone.
Yeah, I when I read that, I want to go back to when you announced your miscarriage. Immediately, I went to my wife because nobody knows this. We didn't talk about it. My wife actually went through a miscarriage as well.
Sorry,
But and the thing is, it's not that we weren't careful. It's not that we always tried our best. You know what I mean? But then you go to the doctors. You always want closure. You ask so many questions. Did I do something wrong? And then the doctor. Our doctor is very straightforward. I love my doctor because his humor is a bit. Sometimes we don't know whether he's kidding or not.
Yeah.
He said one thing that kind of reassured us. It's like, no, you can give your baby right now the best of the best in the whole wide world, and whatever if it's not yours, it's not yours. There's nothing in the world clinically or scientifically can save.
Nice,
your body does amazing things, he said. If he said this thing he wanted to go the scientific way. He said that if your body knows that the fetus is not healthy, your body does amazing things. It will basically not make it happen for the lack of a better word. So, and the thing is, my wife blamed herself.
Oh, no,
and like for me, it's like sometimes you're there helpless because even by going there and saying that, hey, it's okay we will try again. There's nothing you can say that will make you, even as a husband, make you understand what it's going through, your wife's mind. So for you to share something like that, I'm like, oh wow, I was like, it's not easy. People be there, oh okay, okay, but it takes more than just that. So thank you for sharing. So,
No, for sure.
And we're sorry to hear about the loss as well. I sympathize because I'm not a dad yet, but when I heard it, so I was like, oh wow, stuff. And the picture was actually very, very heartwarming. Yeah,
because we hardly have time to hug.
Exactly, yeah.
But I think hugging is important. It's healthy.
Yes.
It's shown when you hug children, even orphans, it really brings out a better possibility to grow to a more loving adult. So, in orphanages, that's the thing they lack, and they don't really have opportunity to do as much as we do. But I mean, that's why, all these things are built upon how we can share with one another. And your wife should know. I mean, it's never your fault, right? It is what it is. Life is beautiful, and it's all its vulnerabilities, its frailties, the goods and the bad.
Yeah, and that's what makes you stronger, I mean, it's cliche to say that, but it's really cliche. But the thing is, it is that saying. After when you come up from that. And I want to go back to this question because there's so many questions I'll ask because we only have you for this amount limited of time.
Thank God.
We thought we're gonna have you stay back and then we're gonna shoot TikToks together, IG reels together.
Oh yeah, you have to teach me TikTok.
Right.
Clearly, I have a lot to learn.
Clearly, right?
Oh my
Especially
God,
for the next few years, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to go back to when I was 15 years old. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how old I am now, but whatever. When I was in school, right? There was one day where my mom said, "Don't go to school." And I'm like, "Oh, yay! I'm not gonna go to school." I was like, "Why?" Oh, there's a riot happening outside of school. So I studied in near Jalan Pudu. So and I was like wondering, what happened? Oh yeah, there's a riot happening right now. It's not safe. Stay home. And then after that, a few days later, we went, and then we got to know that there was something happening. We, as a kid, I don't know what was going on. So, apparently there was someone who's been sacked as the deputy prime minister, and he's the bad guy, and everybody's going out chanting this word called reformasi, and then we abused it in school. Every time the teacher say, "Hey,
I'm pretty sure."
sekarang kita ada got exam reformasi, got chongan reformasi, spelling reformasi.
I didn't know this one is the good one. Okay, it
It's
doesn't
so
make it
hilarious.
bad. Yeah, all right.
And then we were watching the news. I watched the news. I watched the raid come into your father's house, our current prime minister's house. And I was confused. I was like, why? Is there a bad person? What's going on? And then, of course, in the process, I saw you standing up and putting your hand up in the air. And I'm wondering, who's that? And my mom says, that's Anwar Ibrahim's daughter. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, as a kid, back then, you don't know much because you're not invested into politics. Your parents give you the best of what they can afford to give you.
True.
You go to school, don't do your homework, come back, don't do your homework, get scolding. But life goes on that way. But I was always under the impression that Anwar Ibrahim back then was a bad guy. So my question to you is, you went through so many years on the sideline watching your father fight for the right thing, and finally, I mean, he is where he is today.
Yeah.
But in the process of going there, I know that you've probably been asked this question a lot of times. Like, as a kid, as a teenager growing up, when you were being put into that position, how did you feel back then? What was going through your mind?
I think the main feeling I had to overcome was the feeling of being betrayed by the system, because I always believe that the courts, the judiciary, the law, whether the police, I mean, everyone is entitled to justice, to fairness, and overnight that belief of your democratic rule of law was just shattered, because I was a very idealistic girl. I mean, by the time I remember Wawasan 2020,
flying cars.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to draw at one point for my art class, the flying car.
Yeah, I did that too, but I failed, so I gave up.
What car you drew?
I tried to draw a proton
It's
saga
always a proton, bro.
but there was
And
no.
then it's also a proton then, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Nobody drove anything else except a proton.
Yeah, how
And
dare
it's
you ask that question,
the Proton
Brandon?
Saga as well, right?
Yeah, but then-
Oh, Iswara.
No,
No,
saga.
maksudnya suara tak lagi.
Oh, masih belum lagi ya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sauce.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like that betrayal, because like, why is this happening? And it's not just about us, because what it symbolizes, right? The fact that it could happen to someone who's number 2
Yes.
in the country, it could really just happen to anyone. And that kind of emboldened in me the importance to ensure that justice is served, and the institutions of democracy in our country, they're preserved. Because that's what keeps you going,
Yep.
credibility of a nation. It took me time. I was very angry. If you can see, like, and initially it was like, I was just angry all the time.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, to be honest, like, because we see you from afar, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You were very
Yeah.
garang back then. Like, can I
Well,
just say, like
I
a
was-
little chili padi at that?
Yeah.
It's just a bit protective,
Yeah.
because you can't quite trust the media coverage was very, very corrosive.
Yep.
But I think over time you kind of understand that at the end of the day, especially when I offered myself as a candidate,
Yes.
you can't do so with a huge chip on your shoulder, because you're there as a candidate and you are representing the people.
Yes.
So you can't be there as someone who feels wronged. It's someone that offers hope. Someone who can speak for everyone, without fear and favor, but to articulate their issues. So I think it's an evolution, a growing up process for
Yeah.
me as well. And anger doesn't bring you anywhere.
Yeah, but wait, okay, when you
Yeah.
said it's an evolution and a growing up process, right?
Yeah.
Did you at any one point feel, or at least I would assume,
Yeah.
that you were forced into politics just to defend what was wrong?
She let out a very huge sigh just then.
It's because I think of that a
Yeah.
lot, because one thing in life, never feel forced to do anything.
Yes.
You have to have this healthy relationship and understanding with yourself. As much as sometimes you can't control, you're dealt with the cards that you have, This is partly destiny. This is partly, what you have, the opportunities or the challenges. And, we're lucky the most. And I think from there, then, you make whatever decision you can to add value. I believe, like, in life, it's very short. It doesn't last forever. So what can I do to add value? That's how I think, like, for example, for my father's case, at one point we went to the United Nations Human Rights Commission, because I think one of the big musts or conditions is I have to be fighting based on principle.
Yeah.
It's not because he's my father. It is because I understand and there's evidence that he's innocent, and we have to really make sure, we bring it to the relevant authorities. So that's why he never ran away. He went to court, went through the process. But I would say this, at the Human Rights Commission, it wasn't just a fight for one person,
Yeah.
but all the political and, the issues of political and civil liberties, the political prisoners, and of course later on, it was championing prison reform. And I think it helps, because then you realize it's a more systemic, a bigger mission than just you. It's always bigger than you. Every time you feel sad, well, there's someone else who's suffering worse than you are, right? And that's kept me sane lah.
Wow.
I mean,
Is it fair to say that you have no regrets then now looking back?
Of course, sometimes I shouldn't have worn that checkered shirt. That was quite bad. And the color of that scarf was quite off-putting.
I love it.
Yeah, and I should have worn better shoes today to meet the
No lah,
needs
pass
of-
lah. I would say lah, from my
Hey,
perspective.
Malaysian made, okay?
Lulus, stop Lulus. This is pass. But anyway, you spoke about candidacy, so we want to, Jin, rewind back. I'm going to bring you back now to last November, all right? Because
Yeah.
I hear the sniffles coming on already. Don't worry, Jin and I will sniffle with you. We'll lend you a shoulder if you need to.
It's okay.
But massive news came out of that election results because honestly, Jin didn't follow politics. I follow politics all my life. Permatang
Oh,
Pao.
really?
Yes, Permatang
Oh,
Pao.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Bless you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Permatang
inshallah.
Pao was like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, I didn't even bother looking at the live updates for Permatang Pao until the news started trickling in because to me it was a no-brainer, right? And I don't know what your reaction was to that, but it was a shock to myself, my friends as well.
Yeah.
And so rewind back not so far, maybe not 20 years ago, but just rewind back to a few months ago when that result came in. What was your reaction like? Because you went through a low there, and then, but the fight that you have been fighting for 20 years, 30 years, when your dad finally became PMX, PM, the 10th Prime Minister, and that was a high. Massive contrast there as well. So let's talk about that low first. When that result came out, was it a shock to you? What was your initial response?
I mean, firstly, it's very important for us as candidates to respect the will and the votes that people cast
Yep.
because it is an electoral democracy. So as painful or as beautiful it can be, that's important to place yourself in the bigger scheme of things, right? Always with humility. That is the reason I contested. It is to serve. And of course, I think you can feel the reverberations because the kind of green wave. I think the last 1 week. I think some things were a bit different. And of course, the sentiments and the attacks that we caught. And from time to time on TikTok, because I've got to admit I'm not an active user.
Well, I'm not an active user too.
I see you looking out there because we were just talking about after that we got to teach Izzah how to do this thing. Like, come on, let's do it.
I go to TikTok for recipes now, so it's not bad, but yeah.
Yeah, my daughter goes on TikTok. I'm like, what's wrong with Instagram Reels? I don't understand it. Why are you
Reels,
so?
let's go.
Yeah, why are you so negative?
Yeah, but would it hurt more if I said that Reels copied TikTok? So it's
Yeah,
technically.
I don't mind. I just say I'm just comfortable. And but yeah, it was when the results came trickling in. I guess after I was trailing, I realized we're in trouble here. And I think I've always won. I was fortunate enough to win every single election.
Landslide
contested in.
margin, by the way.
Not even. I mean, but Lembah Pantai was very difficult.
Yeah.
It was very difficult. It was. I was up against a new minister. I was denied zero allocation. Kudos to the people of Lembah Pantai. But I mean, so it's always for me, life is just it's a test. So even if you win, it's about managing expectations. How do you perform? Are you going to forget or lose yourself? Like Eminem. Sorry.
I like the references. Not gonna lie.
Girl, suddenly, I was listening so attentively, so seriously, Jin.
I
was
do.
like,
This is a bad habit. Okay, back to my story. Or are you gonna just give up when you lose? So I think it's a testament, to test your character and of course showing your appreciation to the people who still voted for you.
Yeah.
And also if you care about a constituency, there's many ways to contribute, right? But I think my bigger concern is the representatives,
Yeah.
across the board. Are they going to bring out a vision of Malaysia that's more inclusive or otherwise? Are we going to try to rally everyone together in a country that needs really the strength of diversity so that we can empower everyone and unlock everyone's potential? Or are we going to just go backwards? So that for me, that kind of love for vision, even if I lose, but if the person representing me believes in the same vision, that's not so bad.
Okay.
So I think the main concern is when it's polarizing and it's making us even further from one another. Now that's my main concern. But so I felt it was very important to kind of always remain hopeful, even if it was a sad day. And because I represented, it's my father's constituency before this, and I think since 1982. which is the year he contested first. But again, it's for me, there's so many lessons that we take and we learn, and it has strengthened our resolve to really fight for that vision that we want to be realized. It's hard, but I feel healthy dose of optimism, very, very important. And always make sure that you have a clear sense of purpose, right? Because, I've been there for 15 years. Safia, my eldest, will always tell me, your job contract as MP is just for 5 years.
Oh,
That's it, max, right?
Yeah.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Then set out what you want to do as a job contract. Then the contract finishes and you ask your constituents, are you willing to give me another contract?
Yeah.
Right? That's how it should be. But I think it's a healthy way because time is limited. You have to be mission oriented.
yeah.
Yeah. Can I be sad lah? Must be.
Of course, that time sad lah.
Of course
but-
lah. I human.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who do you usually, who do you most go to when it comes to advice? Do you speak to your father? Does he give you, he's obviously
Yeah.
the one that you would first go to because of the experience in politics when you were a lot younger. Were you actually, I wanted to ask this question back then, were you even allowed to communicate with your father?
In prison, the first year we had to communicate through 2 thick blocks of glass because
Okay.
there's no contact visit.
Okay.
It was very difficult because we were very close, a close-knit family. There's 6 of us.
Yeah.
So then we had to find ways, learn on the job, very steep learning curve, whether campaigning on behalf of the opposition and then with the NGOs. So it was, we missed him, of course.
Yes.
But I think my mom, she was always the pillar of strength.
Yeah.
Unfazed. She's just just keep at it. And she was an ophthalmologist. That's why we have this love for government hospitals.
Oh, okay.
Because all of us were delivered in government hospitals. So we saw her work ethic
Okay.
as an eye doctor. So when she kind of took early retirement, she still volunteered at the hospital. So, those things kind of shape your life.
Yes.
Like I was an Asuntarian, you kind of understand. But you must have, I believe, mentors everywhere. Like, you can learn from even your worst enemy because we are all constantly evolving and we need to improve ourselves first and foremost, right? So I believe like whether it's in your career, it's in economics, it's in social welfare, you have to have your mentors, people who you look up to, who can learn from in politics, but even in communications, right? Because clearly, I think one thing I maybe didn't do as well is communicating some of the policy ideas I wanted to translate, I wanted to implement.
Okay.
Like TikTok is a big a blip. I kind of missed it completely, you know? And I can't do that, right? Because then I don't win over the 18-year-olds. I don't win over those who are watching that or involved in that medium. So it's a hard lesson, but it's important. So mentors everywhere. I think that's quite important because your mentors will actually help you shape the person that you want to be in 5 to 10 years' time. But the only person you want to compare yourself to is you.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is the other problem. We try too much to be someone we're not.
Yeah.
When we can only be the best versions of ourselves.
Yeah,
I mean,
you tend
that's
to compare yourself to others. Oh, why can't I be like that person? You try to be that person, and then you lose yourself along the way. Actually, not an Eminem reference, but
Absolutely. What's your true north? Right? It's just, that guides you. And I think it's very serious. I mean, honestly, might sound cliche lah, but for me, only when you kind of calm down and be at peace with that understanding, then you can just improve lah.
who was your biggest mentor ever?
I mean, there's many people actually. I guess in terms of poverty eradication, probably the one that I really looked up to was Prof. Fatimah Kari lah, because she has such an empathy for her subject matter. In a sense, she was interviewing the low income households, but she has so much like care for them. Like, what's going to happen if you do this study? Are you going to help implement it into policy? Are you going to translate it into actionable policy? So sometimes those things kind of bring you forward. Similarly, there are a lot of lawyers, I think some who defended my case, who are extremely well versed in in their work and in their profession, but also you kind of stack up talent, knowing where to place them. You see, that's one of the most important lessons in leadership.
Yeah.
You know people in an organization, where to place them. So if you recognize the talent and you kind of reduce the percentage of wrongfully targeting, you place them accordingly, then they can sort of empower themselves, unlock their potential, and in turn help you and your organization.
The hardest job about being like the top, for the lack of a better explanation, the hardest job for a CEO is hiring the right people for the job.
Yep.
Because the CEO can't do everything. The thing is, everybody thinks the CEO knows everything. But they don't. I like just for just a general idea for the listeners who are listening, right? When they always elect someone into office and they always want to vote because they're always being fed that you vote for a change. How long does it actually take for change to happen? Because some people tend to say like, come on, I want it immediately, or some people are like, oh, it takes long. So sometimes people don't understand that it takes quite a while.
Yeah, it is the first, I think, humbling lesson for me. That's why they call it change management. Really, because even if you stack up, you think that at ceteris paribus things are gonna move based on your own speed. But there's all these moving parts. Let's say you want to tackle one problem. Well, the other problems are going to come your way, and there's going to be backlash when you do certain changes. So, yes, it takes time. So you need to also prioritize what are the low-hanging fruits. What are the immediate things you can do? Yeah, for example. And what are the things that you are limited due to the burden or legacy of previous financial scandals, right? So you're left with a small pool. I was talking to Brandon, earlier, one of your staff members or your team members, he told me, he was born in the year 1997. I mean, that was the hurrah year for Malaysia, right?
Yeah.
We were one of the
Tigers
of Southeast Asia. Oh, you do know that term, so you're not that young after all.
I don't know.
I'm kidding, Brandon. No, I'm happy. I'm happy that young people of Malaysia are following very closely. Now give me a fist bump.
I wanna.
No. But yeah, so you just realize that the cake has really, reduced in size, and so you have all these problems after the pandemic, but yet you have very little funds, right, to move around, and it's going to be a very zero-sum expenditure. So it's really important to prioritize and to know what are the things that you can do and the things you cannot do, and also know what you don't know, because these things will help you plug in the conclusion and the key outcomes. So the other challenge is to communicate it effectively.
Yeah. How do you juggle all this while being a mom?
Oh, I mean, to be fair, just make sure your team, you have the best minds, the best brains.
Okay.
And prioritize that, right? In making sure that you choose very well.
Right.
That's basically things are within your control and beyond your control.
But I'm sure when you first started, it'll be a little bit tough,
Oh, absolutely.
Oh man.
Now,
I mean,
Izzah, now your dad is PM Nombor 10.
yeah.
It's almost as if like a finally thing, right? It came full circle. I mean, it's
24
been
years.
24 years is a long time,
Yeah.
right? And like I said just now, my initial question was from this low now to this high. So when he was announced when he was sworn in, was it a feeling of, was it a sigh of relief? Was it like a weight lifted off your shoulder? The fight has finally come to an end? Or is another burden that just put on your shoulder because now the real work begins? Or was it like a feeling of vindication almost, because of all the things that you guys have been through, not just as he himself, but as a family? And now finally he's, PM, was it like a vindicative feeling? What was that like actually from your perspective as not just a politician, as a mother, as a daughter, as a sister?
Well, it's really mixed, to be honest, because first I just want to make sure that we remain calm no matter what, because I always believe we had shared the best moments of happiness behind that prison wall. So because, nothing can take that away from you, right? So I felt that was a test of our bond as a family.
Oh.
The fact that we could laugh and we could share like jokes as a family unit, even as they took him away in prison. Because you can't take away your dignity. People can't take away your resolve and your wholeness and meaning as a person. So I think that was very important because then it set the foundational stones to what happened today. Because at the end of the day, governing, it's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond the glamour of the titles because you're really having to manage not just the economy. You have to talk about, when you talk about belanjawan, it's not just about the country's coffers. It's about reducing leakages and wastages so people's belanjawan can be further improved. So I felt the weight of like, Astaghfirullahalazim. I mean, it's great, but it really, if people knew what it takes when you come as government, it's just really a huge responsibility and burden, amanah. So I don't know if people want to do it, really, because it's really, I'm reminded what Jacinda Ardern shared, right?
Yeah.
When, I don't have enough in the tank anymore.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of empathize with that because when you really give your all, it's not something that's easy. But again, after 24 years, I could not believe it happened. I got to say that.
Were there tears?
I held back.
You held back?
Istana.
Oh yeah, got to maintain protocol.
A bit.
A bit, Just a little twinkle, sparkle in my eye.
But most of all, I really prayed for strength. I really prayed for support. I really prayed that we will always be guided by our true north.
Yeah.
Because we don't have much time. There's so many things to resolve. And even economic reforms per se, how do you bring back a lot of, spur not just investments overseas, but domestic direct investments.
How do you restore confidence as well?
How do you restore confidence?
Yeah.
Exactly, Brandon. So for me, it's, we need to corral everyone's in this together. I think that's what you want, right? That goodwill from everyone, because we have to make everyone feel that you're part of this. And that's also a challenge because time is not on our side.
Exactly.
Right? But how do we get them a sense of belonging?
Yeah. Tough road ahead, I think, for you guys, honestly. Wow.
Yeah, because I see the family post, right? It's all very nice. Your grandfather spending time with all his grandchildren. But he chose to better a country. Basically, he chose to run a country.
Yeah.
It's
The grandchildren had many times moments in prison to visit the grandfather.
Yeah.
So, I remember my daughter, it just kind of skipped a generation because first it was my sisters who went to the courts and everything and then became my daughter. So, hopefully they understand the importance of, having a stable government, but a government that is predicated on just and rule of law. Because this thing's not just for us. You want to make sure, the next one, they'll selamat. So it's a continuous challenge. And I think that's why, we can only transmit this kind of values. Lepas tu, it's going to be your struggle. I always see it that way. After this transition, siapa pula, nak kena make sure they have that kind of zeal and care and love for the nation.
I like how you brought up Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, because the way she was like, you know what, I think she said something along the lines that she's not ready or not capable already. I've done enough, and she wants to move on.
There's nothing left in the tank.
Basically,
that's exactly what she said. Yeah.
But she's amazing. When do you think we'll see a female leader in our country?
Ooh.
I thought we will. I thought we would have in two elections ago when we saw Dr. Wan Azizah as the Deputy Prime Minister. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. You know what I mean? It's like, when will that happen? Because it's quite challenging as a female, to be a politician in the political landscape in Malaysia, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's greater awareness. And then there's also that importance to want to break the glass ceiling, not just in politics, but every area of life. And by the same token, you also want changes to take place so that women across the strata, whether if they decide to become a homemaker or if they decide to become a career-driven person, that they are given that option to continue their lives as conducive and as comfortable as possible. So it's very important to not just look at it from the helicopter point of view, but grounded also Like, do they have enough childcare support? Do we have places where we can also work part-time, take flexi hours, and improve the female participation in the labor force? So it's good. I think it's important. But by the same token, I also want men to be part of the journey. You mentioned just now, I was very touched that you felt your wife's pain. And it's really we're in this also together. Even mixed families, single-headed households. It's a new frontier, and we have to normalize speaking about it, to find solutions, to be pragmatic about it. Yeah, as much as we want to share our emotions and all that.
Now, I know we talk a lot about politics. We kind of want to steer away from politics after this, but
Because Brandon is a political expert.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
But we're looking forward now, right? Because GE15
Yes,
is passed. So now, like you say, we all look towards the future, right? And one of the questions I think was in the paper that I was very interested in was GE16. A little bit early to talk about it. I get it.
Baru je nak
I
beraya
know.
dah habis.
Hey, you're like the typical auntie, hey, you married already when you have kids. Oh, you have kids already when your kids getting
I
married.
get that a lot, by the way. Chinese New Year is passed. I got that so many from all the aunties, by the way.
I know, that's okay.
Not easy.
It's like that.
So I wanted
It's
to
the how
ask.
they show they love us.
I hope so. I think so. Yeah, but for you, like, what we can expect from Nurul Izzah Anwar, GE16. Are you planning to come back, or is this like a very good break for you? Maybe there's even a sense of relief in you that I'm not an MP. I can rest for a little bit, gather my thoughts a little bit, find my true north, like you said. Are you already gearing up? It's like, okay, I gotta get on this TikTok game now. I've got 4 or 5 years to learn about TikTok and become an expert in it and come back stronger. What is the game plan here? Is there one?
Yeah, so I think right now my focus is just to make sure that I can do my best to serve the government of the day.
Yeah.
I worry that we have very little time before we can set the true course on certain areas. And I've just actually met with Tan Sri Hassan Marikan. And it's really important to really galvanize the best minds in the country and make sure that we come up with a clear plan in the next few months, because by June we'll probably be seeing a few state elections.
Elections, yep.
Yeah, and usually how it is in Malaysia, it will kind of give a taste or precursor before the 16 GE.
It's a good litmus test as well for our current government.
Yeah.
True. And it's challenging. Yeah, as you know, Kerajaan Perpaduan, and of course the onslaught of the seats won, especially by PAS and PN. So at the end of the day, my main focus is to make sure belanjawan negara, belanjawan rakyat is something that everyone kind of feel kind of connected to. But beyond that, it's really figuring out ways to reduce wastages and leakages.
Yep.
So it's senang cakap kan?
But when
best. Tapi but when it comes to it, it really requires integrity, not just forensic accounting, making sure you do your due diligence in the contract. So my time in the PAC, Parliamentary Accounts Committee, oh my God. I mean, it was good because it kind of gave you a taste, although it's a bit academic in nature because it's post the fact. So right now it's slightly more active because I hopefully, in my role at the PMO, I hope to kind of assist, but it's really mission oriented. I just feel like,
no time to waste. Bam,
bam. And after more than that, I want to strengthen the institutional memory.
Okay.
Because politicians should come and go, but what should stay? The need for economic reform.
The principles.
The strong policy should stay.
The SOPs, also the ability to kind of control leakages, right? So that has to be based on a behavioral and motivational incentives, including how the institution is spearheaded or structured.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, but so I don't know, man. I mean, next elections, I think first thing is just to make sure you do the work, and later on.
So basically, no game plan first. Just focus.
I think it's more. I think it's more about focus on the now. Then when the time comes, you'll probably be re-evaluating yourself again. You can't set out a game plan now and then.
True. I mean it's. I just have a rough one, but as you said, Brandon, I don't even know how to TikTok properly. I mean, it's...
You got 4 years to learn, Lisa.
I don't have 4 years. I had to do it yesterday. So, but it's not just that.
You're very hard on yourself, I can tell you that. But
it's more policy, It's more policy as well. How do you make sure that there's a deeper ingrained way to create awareness amongst voters across the segments.
Yeah.
That somehow there's a touch point, not just via TikTok, but other ways to touch their hearts and engage with them, right?
Yeah.
Because it's also not healthy if people kind of get political awareness only from one particular
Which
medium.
is why we thank you. I think that's one of the reasons why you're here in Mamak sessions as well. It's a
Hidup
different
Jin.
platform.
Hidup Mama Session.
Yay! That's right.
That's why you're here.
Memang tertarik satu
Alhamdulillah.
on the way. Okay, no. I want to talk about a little bit about education. How do you think about the education landscape in Malaysia right now? Because I think as a parent, if
Who
I
have
can
kids
afford,
are about to go to
my kids
school,
are about to
so
go to
it's
school.
a big concern for you actually.
Absolutely.
It's always a
Absolutely.
conversation amongst my friends. Like, oh, I want the best for my kids, so I
Yeah.
send them to a private school.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, oh, why you don't want to send to a government school? Oh no lah, maybe I'll consider a Chinese school. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah.
like
The rigor, the discipline.
yeah. So
Understandable.
What do you where do you think we're at now at the education system? What's being done or what's going to be done to change it so that we will be forward thinking, forward moving?
So, this is such an important question because, like many other countries, we're grappling with the phenomena of the lost generation, right? After the pandemic, school closure, we probably had the highest school closure weeks in terms of countries in the Asia Pacific. So, YB Fadlina, her work is cut out for her. And one of the ways is you have to improve the quality of the education system, especially in the government schools. I came from a government school. Proud government school student. Yeah, Sekolah Kebangsaan.
This one I can face bump,
Yeah, Sekolah Kebangsaan. And for me, it was very crucial because Sekolah Kebangsaan is where you kind of have that degree of egalitarian, education, right? Because in a sense, it doesn't matter which social background you come from,
Yeah.
but you're there and you get good quality education.
Yeah.
So it will take us some time, right, to improve things. And I think her plan is to make sure there's nutritional intake for all the students who are coming to school, because a lot of the lower income groups, the kids don't come to school because when you cancelled or you remove the rancangan makanan tambahan previously, so there's no incentives to go to school. That's one thing. But it's not enough. Then you have to make sure the teachers are given some degree of support, independence. And, she alluded to this. I think her position is we have to make sure teachers are not punished for giving up their views, because you're teaching your children to articulate their own independent position. So, it's the progress. It will take time. In fact, there's a lot of Malay students as well going to Chinese schools.
Yeah.
So you have that kind of immersion taking place because at the end of the day is the quality.
Yeah.
So Sekolah Kebangsaan will have to face up to this challenge, and we want the teachers also to do this. I actually learned how to speak proper English from my teacher at Sekolah Kebangsaan because she made us keep a diary in English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think those are the key things that we have to look at. But once school reopens, I would want everyone to come together, look at the different programs, but also partake in maybe PTA organizations.
Yeah, my mom was a government school teacher. She teach a lot of places. She taught in Taman Petaling. I know Taman Petaling very well because every time during the holidays, she was an art teacher. So I will always go to the art room and then she would teach pottery. After that, she went to DJ. And after that, Bersara dekat Subang, the primary school.
Yeah.
See, that's the reason why I asked this question. Because when you're a kid, you go to school.
Yeah.
You don't know what finances are, right?
Betul.
And then when I grew up enough and I went to work, I went back and asked my mom, actually, why did you send me to a private school? Because I wanted the best for you. And it started since then. I was like, oh, what's wrong with the local education? She's like, she didn't really give much of a comment. She taught math, English, and art. But she just said that, she always thinks that I need to pay for quality education. Where for me today, it's a little bit different. I feel quality education
It's an automatic right.
It's a fundamental right to every child.
Absolutely.
Because you can look. The reason why I say this is
social mobility.
Yeah. The reason why I say this is because I learned. Okay, so I do YouTube. I think.
Yeah.
I think just in case you don't know, I do something this called YouTube. I edit videos. I never went for a formal education for that. I learned all there was about with video editing and even cameras.
Yeah.
I did all on YouTube. I just watched a video from this guy called Zach King.
Oh yeah, my son's favorite.
Oh, he does. Oh, yeah. So before Zaki became who he was today.
You follow him first lah.
Yeah, I
That's
follow
why
him
I say about
first.
the head. Yeah, I
But-
follow them first.
Yeah.
Before they were popular, I know first lah.
He used to give
Sorry,
tutorials.
You sounded so auntie when you said that. Can I just point out? But the way
I nak,
he said it.
nak merakyatkan.
Okay.
Nak memastikan semua aunty-aunty merasa mereka
I feel like-
inklusif, tergolong.
Now that I think about it, she mentioned tiger milk mushrooms. The way she said that, I'm suspecting she could be the president of the Aunties Council on WhatsApp or something like that, man. That's like
Not that heavily involved lah. A little bit lah.
A little bit lah.
I give like 30% lah, but not more lah.
I would say more the 60s plus percent. But sorry, Jade, continue.
Yeah,
Sorry to point
Okay,
it out.
you have returned your insult. We're 0-0 now.
We're even.
We're even.
Brandon, I want him to come back on the show. Please behave yourself.
Maafkan saya.
Yeah, and that's where I realized that, oh wow, I learned this for free. Obviously not as good as the specialists
Yeah.
and the professionals who go to film school.
Yeah.
But you had a base. And then that base converted into an interest, and that's where I was interested to make films. And then it kind of like grew after the other. Then now I'm doing what I'm doing right now. So that's why I always believe that a child's education is the most important, and it should be free.
Absolutely.
And yes, I know sometimes you pay, you get American syllabus, you get UK syllabus, yes, and you automatically think that the West is best.
Not this case.
Yeah, and yeah, I know I'm talking a lot, but I want to segue to
No, I'm glad because this is important. Sometimes people take it for granted, tau.
Yeah.
But that's why we have to achieve higher in a way that what's our agenda? We have to make sure it becomes the first choice for parents, government schools.
Exactly.
And that is done by improving the quality. And not just Wabi Fadlina, I think Mazli Malik, kan, Dr. Mazli pun talks about this. This is a huge issue. And we're having this engagement sessions with the different ministries. In fact, the next one is with MOE. And, for me, we really want this to be embraced, and like the Prime Minister talks about Madani. If you talk about Madani, an inclusive nation that is giving everyone the space to articulate their views and talent, so definitely starts with the education system, with government schools. What are we offering? How can we bring our teachers to the next level? Do you know before in the 50s, our Malaysian teachers were sent to Kirby College to learn English?
Oh, I think my mom. Yeah. My mom.
See?
They were sent to different places, for
Oh,
training.
yeah, my mom was like also, she wasn't a teacher lah, but all her teachers, she has a massive respect and admiration for
Yeah.
her teachers, by the way. Yeah.
So that's, I mean,
We're not
sometimes-
saying that the current teachers are not good, but back then,
Yeah.
they had to do a lot more.
Granted, we had more money then, but the point is what? Is investing in human capital,
Yeah.
in our teachers, in our students. So that kind of zeal is definitely coming back. And we'll hear more from the minister,
Yeah.
but I think it's very, very important for us to keep pushing this, pushing this as a main agenda. Like, I feel like even education everywhere, you nak pujuk juga those who left school. It's a lot. I went to Melaka, ada yang jual makanan gerai buah-buahan, and they don't want to go back to school because they're so used to kind of leaving school during the pandemic. So how do you also get them on board, whether through other short-term programs,
Yeah.
so that there's a way to plug in, and that lifelong education circle is something that continues to move. So yes, one is of course for our kids, but lifelong education.
Yeah. No more
Including-
hafal lah. Application is better.
Yeah,
Yes.
definite. Definitely, because life is full of shocks.
Yeah. How if you keep hafal, how do you adapt?
You can't.
Yeah.
The
I used to
script.
hafal lah, I'll be honest with you.
At least we
No,
said
me
it.
too. Me too.
Really,
Especially for
really.
biology, like exactly.
I
Yeah.
can still remember sejarah as well. I can still remember.
I worked more. I
What
worked
it is.
better when I applied it. I failed in high school, by the way. My SPM results is basically the alphabetical book for for a 5-year-old kid.
Aw.
And but when I went to university, I think it was application.
Yes.
I did an American degree program, and then I
Oh,
did,
like my sister.
I did it because you know why? And they said that this is 70% assignment based and then 30% theory. I'm like, yeah, I don't like to take exam. Bagus.
No one does.
That's why
Some of us
YouTuber
are forced to do it.
That's why.
Hey, that's a YouTuber that hired you into this company.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Hi, boss. So anyway, yeah,
You can feel the tension. Yeah.
but we want to stay a little bit away from politics, right? So this is actually a really, really important question. Radiohead.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard that you're quite a singer when it comes to Radiohead songs.
A fan.
A fan.
I think it's
'Cause
two different
I'm
things.
a
Oh my god. That's bad.
'Cause
Wait.
Yeah.
Did
yeah.
you just-
Try again, Brandon. Yeah. Just yeah. I know you tried your best.
I
But
tried my best, but
What's your favorite? Have you ever been for their concerts before?
I think I can neither deny
Deny
or
nor
confirm that
confirm.
statement.
Okay. But
That question.
but you did say you last time I think I remember, right?
You remember? What do you
that
remember,
you wanted to
Brandon?
bring
Tell
Radiohead
me. Oh,
to
okay.
Malaysia.
Yeah, it's quite a challenging feat because of the
Right.
death penalty that exists in this country.
Ah.
So they don't perform in countries that have death penalties. Yeah.
Capital punishment.
Capital punishment. Yeah.
But they're not really on tour also. They're
Yeah.
like, I don't know what's
they're
up with
too
them.
big, you know,
big?
to
no
consider.
lah, you just go there and
tours.
say, hey, I got this budget, can come perform. It's a yes or no question.
Okay, on that note, I think the budget should be spent
Yeah, on
other
different things,
I have
yes.
to prioritize.
Hey, last time we used
have
to perform.
prioritize.
We used to perform it in school, and then after
We
the teachers will clap. Then after that, some person was like, okay, excuse me, can you go to the principal's office? And
Why?
then they take out the lyrics lah. I said, okay, so the song you sang, why is there this? And then
But there's a radio edit.
yeah, there's a radio edit. But the thing is, you know lah, we all don't sing the radio edit when we're live.
Sing lah radio edit.
It's so funny. Then after that, from then on, right, every song that we have to perform, we have to print out the lyrics and we have to give it to the principal's office.
So funny.
Yeah, that's quite standard. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
That's
to
quite standard.
approve or reject the song that we're gonna sing. You know.
Yeah.
That's sad.
I hope they ban Coco Melon. It's okay. Apart from Radiohead, what songs do you usually listen to? What's your constant
Oh,
loop?
good question.
Oh, right now it's just podcasts.
Ah.
Sorry.
Yeah, wow.
I'm sorry. I'm seriously okay. But to be fair, my husband's a huge Neil Young fan, so you know it's a mixture lah. We had Led Zeppelin. I mean, very old school, but
Oh, I know.
yeah. But the point is, it's just been really a busy period. But usually, a mix lah.
Okay
I
lah,
would
the
say
top-
the early 2000s,
Ah.
the more of the alternative scene. I don't know if you've heard them.
Simple Plan. No.
Simple Plan, not bad. But there's another one, Lama. I lupa. It escapes me. I always listen to the song. Wake Up, Arcade Fire.
Oh, I thought she was gonna say, "Wake up! Why did you wake up?"
No,
What's that band again? I can't remember. Okay, but interns
it's
cannot
our
lah.
favorite song. It's our favorite song
Okay.
actually. But I don't think we can say in front of them.
No. That's a different. I can't remember what's the band's name, but a lot lah. Actually, that was the era of rock. Rock and alternative was taking over.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
so
now
it
it's-
was reminded me of the days where you had less headache.
Hmm.
You know, it's like your youth kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We scream in our rooms, because we're angsty like that.
We
Yeah.
hit bang in our rooms.
Now
and then
after we
get neck
shout,
pain.
after we shout everything already, then we play Simple Plan to cool down.
Simple Plan is quite rocky. It's full
It's
of
considered-
teenage angst basically, right?
Yeah.
Simple
It's
Plan
still
is like,
okay lah. It's not so.
this
yeah,
one lah.
intense. I mean, for the Malay scene, of course, you have actually during our year, there's a lot more. Apa tu? Alamak.
I'm gonna say a name. I'm not sure whether you know or not. Do you know For You to See?
Of course lah. I bought the album.
Are you so my
I
god?
know. Give me fist bump now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brandon is lost. It's
I
okay.
know. At the time, rap baru je sampai ke Malaysia. So there was KRU after For You to See.
Yes, after For You to See,
Yeah.
KRU. Then after
and
that, there was.
Feminine.
Then there was I forgot, but I know I know one of the members is called Landslide.
Also that.
Point Blank and Landslide were in a group called. Come on, Brandon, you know this.
There's another one.
I'm giving up on my interns. They don't know. They're clueless right now.
Ahmed. Apa dia
Ahmed
buat?
lah. Oh, Butterfingers.
Yeah, they were
Yes.
quite big. Anyway, there's a band called Couple. All Malaysian punya scene lah.
Yeah.
I know the very famous Malay song, the lagu cinta lah.
Manba, is it?
Isabella,
Oh, yeah,
blah,
okay,
blah,
Okay, yeah, that one's
cinta.
that's a given. That's a
Yeah,
legend.
that's like
It's an iconic
if you don't
song.
know that, then cannot be Malaysian lah.
Yeah, right. So okay lah. At least I know something
Yeah.
lah.
Search.
Ah, yes,
Search.
yes. Okay, so what do you? Okay, no more political questions. Well, I'll ask another question. Okay, this one I have to ask. Okay, otherwise my entertainment friends were like, "Hey, why you didn't ask
Okay.
lah?" Okay, so right now they think that there is no ministry that kind of represents the arts when the arts in Malaysia is actually. Malaysia has a lot of artistic people.
Absolutely.
They have a lot of talented
Absolutely.
people. They have, I'm just going to name a few. Okay, number one, obviously, you have Tan Sri Michelle Yeoh, that's a given. She's been there.
Yeah.
And she's been doing so many
Lama.
times. You got Henry Golding. That's actors. But singers, you got like Yuna, right? And you have a lot of people who are basically looking for greener pastures elsewhere. You have people who did the 3Ds and all the animations for Marvel movies who
Yeah.
are Malaysians
Yeah.
who are
Life of
working.
Pi back then.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
studio.
I feel that as a person that is in the entertainment industry I feel that it's quite sad that we're not really represented that much, because I feel that Malaysia is a beautiful country with so much it's a melting pot of growing talent that can go worldwide, but somehow we are always being limited within the country. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think Minister Fahmi Fadzil, is also grappling with this issue, and he's really doing his best. But of course, some of the matters related to arts is under the Ministry of Tourism. We do have to come together, because at the end of the day, if we're not able to somehow unleash a bigger space, then all the talent pool will not be residing here.
Yeah.
But they will find greener or whiter pastures. And it's sad, because I feel that no other country has this level of diversity.
Yeah.
So you kind of have like different representations of a melting pot, and it's not easy to emulate, no matter what you do or how you try. So, hopefully through the budget, we can, it's also dependent on the suggestions given. I would urge all of you to also write in, but it does require systemic reforms, in my humble view. I think we do need to also look at it, right? How do we tweak? Because somehow we're not getting across the different bits of cultural heritage or cultural input or output. We're seeing it in silos, if I can see it. It's not really being presented as a Malaysian kind of product.
Yeah.
Maybe because we do have a polarized society, as do like in America, elsewhere. But maybe we have to bridge existing gaps more than before.
Yeah. I used to work in radio right? And all local acts will always be given a slot at Sunday 4 p.m.
Yes.
4 to 5 p.m. That's it.
Only?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, I thought malam pun ada.
The more least listened to slots are. But after a while, then yes, they did play a little bit more local, because Yuna went overseas and she got spotted by what's the guy's name again? I can't remember. No. Wait. Was it Pharrell Williams? No, right?
No.
Pharrell.
Well, no, not
just
Pharrell Williams.
recorded the song with her, right?
Yeah.
He didn't.
Another one. He spotted Justin Bieber. What's the guy's name?
Scooter Brown?
No.
I thought it was Scooter Brown.
Ludacris?
No.
No idea, man.
Okay, never mind lah. She got spotted by a
Usher?
Yes, Usher. Yeah.
Oh, then she recorded later with him.
Yes.
Right.
It's like,
that's interesting. I didn't know he spotted her.
not spotted lah. Maybe work together with her. But the thing is, before that, Yuna was just given a slot from 4 to 5 p.m. But after she grew big, she used to play at bars in Subang. She's a Subang girl.
Yeah.
Not bars, sorry. it like
As a club sound to
those places lah.
Yeah.
But after she became big, then that's where only we catch on. So why can't we grow these talents homegrown and be proud of them from the home ground, rather than have them go overseas? Then only for the lack of a better word, people be like, okay, I nak claim sekarang. So I look at
kena claim awal-awal.
it's like Henry Golding and Michelle Yeoh, when they had a breakout time for Crazy Rich Asians, then Singaporeans, hey, this is a Singaporean thing because blah blah blah, and I'm like, it's shot in Malaysia.
In PAC, one interesting fact. Actually, they funded Malaysian Finas funded that movie.
Yeah.
So they did invest, especially the places around Carcosa. But again, it's a showpiece about how we can do more to celebrate even productions here. I see Japanese fans, right, especially for the rock bands, who are not necessarily that talented, but they will always be there. Thronging the space and just giving their all to support fully whenever the bands are performing. So slowly, I think it's not just an egg solution, it's chicken and egg.
Yep.
We do need to create this kind of awareness that local is gold. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I have to admit as well, because growing up as well, we were taught to look at Western music or Hollywood or Pili Pala yada yada. Actually Malaysians, to be honest with you, I'm hosting a national show as well. We had many local acts come to our show.
Oh.
The truth is, unfortunately, this is after we wrapped up that show
Yeah.
after 3.5 years being on there, the truth is, the matter is, I tell everyone, unfortunately, we Malaysians do not know how to appreciate our own music because every week we got local bands coming in.
I would
I
disagree with that.
Really?
Actually, we can appreciate
No,
our
we
local
can, but we
music.
don't.
It's just that the platforms that have huge influences, like the media broadcasters,
Also, don't.
only went where the money was. Like
Yeah,
I feel like if
yeah.
you're a number one station in the country, oh my god, obviously I'm only one
Yeah.
station I work with, right? You can rotate a Justin Bieber song for like 50 times a day.
Yeah.
Every hour there
Yeah.
must be one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
once.
did that same with the Malaysian song, people will remember that song.
Fair
the reason
enough,
why they rotate a song every hour is because they are selling the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's the trade lah. Sorry, it's very insider, but yeah. Okay.
But I will say this though. I think I just want to remind us that at one point, Search was so big.
Yeah.
They captured the entire Southeast Asian market. I mean, no other band was as big as Search.
Even Sudirman, he's
Yes. Yes.
Everyone knows his music. Chinese, Indian, Malay, anyone knows his song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good reminder. I think right now it's first we build awareness and hopefully from the ministries they come up with some incentives because I think the talent's there. It's not so much you want to celebrate without any particular reason. It's just that we must make sure we also support based on merit. Sometimes other considerations come into play when it shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask the question from a producer, but I'll let Jin do the honors of asking
Okay,
this.
Jin.
Oh,
Because we have a
yeah. Okay, let's
Apa
see.
ini?
If you
sorry to put you on the spot, Izzah.
yeah, okay. If you have 3 wishes for future generation, oh no, this
No,
one,
not
this
that one,
one.
not that one, no.
What's your
Above
vision?
that, above
What is
that.
your vision for?
No,
oh,
no,
no. Okay, sorry. I heard you have a connection with someone. Do you think you can put in a good word? Do you think the Prime Minister would come to a show like ours?
I mean,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Just,
I heard you might know him.
I heard you got a lot of power in the anti council, lah.
Oh,
Okay,
don't.
that statement alone just acts the whole deal. Acts the whole deal, man. Take it back, then we'll talk again.
I'll take it back. Mute my mic. I'm afraid to mute my mic.
Aduh.
Yeah.
Good question, but a producer told us that if you want to continue Mamak sessions, right, we gotta ask this question. So
Yeah. So
Big-
we
big tough
just have to
question,
ask now. We
Izzah.
just have to ask,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So how?
yes.
Shall convey this request to the Prime Minister.
All
Okay.
right.
At least we tried. At least we tried.
Yeah, we tried
Yeah.
that. Right.
But
Yeah,
but
guys.
before we let you go, I know
Yeah.
you're pressed for time. What? Okay. 2 questions I want to ask. That's for sure. If you have 3 wishes for the future generation of Malaysian politicians, what would that be and why?
Okay. I think first to have a stake and a healthy degree of empathy for the people so that they always be guided accordingly. Number 2, to always care about the impact they can give rather than how they are portrayed. Because oftentimes we think that the position gives us a particular meaning. When the meaning is already embedded in you, it's just how you serve and what is the meaning and impact you leave to others by taking on a position. You're just a vessel, I think. And number 3, to always keep around you, the politicians, you judge the politician not just by the politician, it's also the people they keep around them, right? Because you're essentially voting in the whole lot.
Yeah.
Because no one person can do everything, but you judge and you choose based on the person's ecosystem and persons of choice.
I think with bringing the team more forefront to the public kind of help in some way, at least.
True.
Yeah.
True. I think Obama was very kind of forthright about that.
Yeah.
He made sure that people that he kind of campaigned alongside with are also placed in the forefront lah.
And final question.
Big question.
Yes.
Important one.
What is your vision for Malaysia?
Not as
I-
a politician, just
Yeah,
as
yeah,
young
yeah.
Malaysia, right? All of us are.
I think like we really have to craft a very clear-cut vision because we're dealing with many challenges. Many factors are pulling us apart in many different directions, and we have to be clear-sighted because at the end of the day, you want to future-proof Malaysia from cheapskate issues. You want to make sure Malaysia achieves its full potential as this multiracial, diverse, able to unlock its people's talents. And I think that in itself will make us a beacon that can be looked up by the region and the world. And we can't lose sight of that.
Yeah.
No matter what we feel, how disappointed we might be, we just have to keep up the good fight. And I think that's what kind of pushes me along, because sometimes I can't choose the government of the day. Sometimes I can. Sometimes we get lucky. And in this moment in time, we must realize 5-10 years down the line, you must craft your own destiny. So you have to fight for that future that is multiracial and diverse.
Yeah, I believe I made a film about this. I think last year. Our country is a beautiful country, and I said it before. I mean, it doesn't apply now, but back then I said that Malaysia is a beautiful country. It's just that the people that are often in power often divide us. Back then,
absolutely. I mean, that's it's not just a description of Malaysia, right? Many other nations.
Yes.
And what we want to do is you want to try to bridge the gap so that the government represents the people.
Yes, and not their own best interests.
Yeah, the closer we are, the more grounded, I think, the more successful we can become. But the more apart, the more the government drifts away from the concerns and what the people represent. You're headed for destruction.
Awesome. All right.
Okay, cool.
3 months was worth the wait. I'm so happy to have you here on the show.
I'm so happy,
I'm sure you say this to all the guests.
No.
I feel you. I feel you. I'm saying that I feel you. I'm also happy I came.
Nice. Thank you so much
and thank you for having me.
Yeah. I hope this will be the last. I hope we can have you back on the show to talk about other things.
Yeah.
Maybe like what's your favorite dish
What's
to
the
cook at home and stuff
oh,
like that.
that one. Cook. What's that?
Okay, we said we will not accept Mr. Noodles. Okay. Yes. Anyways, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys want to obviously watch this interview, you can do so on our YouTube channel. It's JTV Hangouts. Go search for it. Obviously, you can stream it on Spotify, on where else, Brandon? Please do.
Probably Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes as well, on Spotify, YouTube, all the platforms, all the major podcast platforms are all there.
Yeah, exactly. So now we can let you go now. But this is an awfully long outro, so enjoy the music, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Auntie. Izzah
Hey!
Cik.
Yeah, Brandon.